Hello everyone, this is a lesson on syntax. Now we will look at what this tool is and how to work with it, what neural networks it has, and so on. Let's start with the fact that registration here is quite simple. You can log in via Telegram or Google. And what is syntax? Syntax is an aggregator that contains a huge number of neural networks. We can use them, let's say, within the framework of our plan, which we can purchase. The purchase is available from different countries. Yes, you can use different site languages here. Previously, syntax was only on Telegram in a bot, right? Now we have access to their website. The only downside is that not all neural networks are available yet. Now I will show you when I log into my profile. So we click login using Telegram in my case. Telegram opens for me, and accordingly, my profile is accessed here. So here my package is shown. Yes, that is if you are an English speaker, this is roughly how everything looks for you. So we have a package, the number of tokens. Yes, we have different subscriptions here that include various add-ons. So you can also purchase tokens. Well, in general, additionally, you can pay with any card. Yes, wherever you are, by any method. I think there's even crypto. Here are our generations with you, and so on, right? So here's what we have. GPT agents. Text can be like chat GPT. There are analogs, yes, different ones. We can create images in different neural networks. Accordingly, in the chatbot on Telegram, we have a much wider selection. Videos, also a huge number of neural networks, and accordingly we have more in the bot, but the most popular are Hexo, Seedin, Clink, Runway, Google Veo available, right? And design as well. NanoBanana, Image 4, Sora, Runway, Flux, MidJourney are available on the site. So let's say the most popular, we have everything here. And audio, including Suno, we have there is work with music. Yes, we have it on our seats. Everything else is in the bot. So in any case, you can very nicely use different functions, and it's quite possible to work with all these tools. Like it won't interfere with your work. Like, for example, if some functions are missing, there's nothing wrong with that. So for my students, there is a discount, of course. So on your first visit, you can get a discount using my link and also receive free tokens. All the information will be in our lesson, so you can check it there. And most importantly, I want to generally explain and show you on this platform that it is very well done by NanoBanana. NanoBananas are, well, a buzzworthy neural network that, so to speak, has stirred up the creative community and continues to do so. What does it do? First of all, it's from Google, right? Secondly, it can change your image in any way. You can use a prompt to specify what to change in your image or what to add and attach a reference. NanoBananas, it regenerates, but it makes your image very similar. That is, for example, skills in working with MidJourney. Yes, creating cool generations in MidJourney will be very useful here because you can support it with a reference like an AI model, like some object, like some style, and so on.
Want to learn how to create stunning videos and images with AI? Then my courses are exactly for you. We dive into MidJourney, animation, video, and creative projects. Everything you need to feel confident in AI creativity. And it's not just theory. You'll get plenty of practice, feedback, and support. Click the link I left in the description and join the course. Let's start creating together.
Now we will look at the example of my works. I will say right away that she doesn't read everything well, but in any case, the results are really cool and you can try generating an image with some real item or object. So here I wrote in different formats, yes, in Russian and in English, and supported it with a reference, meaning the client's ring, right? We needed to place it on the finger, on the third one, right? And well, he handled it perfectly. He turned it quite well and plussed it. Yes, let's say he understood that it was quite bulky. In MidJourney, we created this reference for our video, and accordingly put the ring on this finger, the third one. It did very well. So this is probably not all the generations. Here it transferred the image very well. That is, here it doesn't look very similar. And accordingly, I sent the request again for him to regenerate here. And accordingly, here he very well calculated the size, volume, and so on. So what is most important when working with this neural network? That you can, for example, show the object you want to transfer in a real atmosphere. For example, on a hand, on the neck, yes, and so on. For what? For example, this reference will be very good because it shows the size, anatomy, yes, of the neck, and so on. How and to what extent, you know, the necklace sags and so on. That is, it shows this very well and transfers it. However, when you simply upload an object on a transparent background, the neural network might not understand its scale, its size in relation to the hand, in relation to a person, and so on. That is, it might be more difficult to transfer there. Here I have an example of different prompts. In fact, it's not necessary to write to the neural network, transfer from the first photo to the second photo or vice versa. Sometimes it won't understand you and you'll have to write in detail about transfer this from the first photo to the second photo over there. That is actually only by trial and error here, because in this case, for example, I used a very simple prompt. Put a ring on the third finger of the hand. There, the second picture didn't load for me here, right? But that's okay. In any case, he put it on a real hand, right? So just the fact that sometimes it's a super simple, short, clear prompt, and sometimes you have to write more thoroughly. Sometimes you might even have to use ChatGPT and ask it to write a prompt for NanoBanana. For example, you can go to ChatGPT and ask it to specifically write a prompt for NanoBanana for this or that. That is, it might even be easier for you this way. Or you can still try like transferring with simple prompts, simple phrases, and so on. Here, for example, is another reference, which is also quite complex for the neural network because it reflects, and the neural network might not understand what kind of object this is, right? It can also be quite complex. Here, as it were, he did a pretty good job, and we used this reference for our retoucher because here he still didn't capture the detail of the jewelry very well. Plus, you see, the shot is quite well distant, right? So if it were closer, maybe it would have transferred better.
Here, and what else would I like to say?
The neural network does not understand size. That is, it does not yet have size range, and so on. You cannot set this parameter in the neural network. So how did I find a way out of this, let's say? Because you see, for example, you have this image 9 by 16, and this image is clearly not 9 by 16, not 3 by 4. Well, maybe, for example, 3 by 5 is possible, right? This size. And so it takes this size from the smaller image. Here, because we even have an example with a dress. Now I'll show you where it eventually turned the dress into a square. Here, for example, the girl is 9 by 16, right? This reference is square. And as a result, the image turned out square. So to ensure it calculates the size well, you will either need to adjust the reference sizes or later draw in MidJourney. Here, for example, why did it calculate this coset poorly? Because it might be considered prohibited for it, right? Because in this network, we have prohibited words, actions, and so on. We can't do nudity here. That's probably why it didn't consider this moment. Here, perhaps it needed to be specified in more detail that it's a transparent corset, but it probably wouldn't have passed. So what else? What other advantages do we have specifically in syntax in NanoBanana? The fact that we can edit the image right here, we can download it, and we have a process button. There is a remix button and an editor button here. The editor is, well, not yours, but in general, MidJourney is integrated, right? MidJourney edit is integrated, right? You have a brush, an eraser, right? You can change the size there and so on. By the way, you can try to adjust the size here by writing a prompt and sending a request. You either edit something with the brush, right? Or remix. What is remix? It's exactly that you follow the chain. Specifically from this image, you interact with the neural network exactly. Editing, already generated images, you can bring in some references here, for example, right? Let's say. So that's one option. You have a button here where you can upload a file or choose from uploaded ones or choose from generated ones, right? So I chose from the uploaded ones and uploaded 2 photos, and the remix from this photo has already started, which it generated for me. Let's try. Okay, put the bracelet on the girl's hand. So accordingly, you send the request and it generates. Whether it understands now or not what needs to be transferred, I can't say. We will see the result now. But in any case, it's best to write your request more specifically. Because as you see, it kind of didn't understand what I needed. Here, that's it. And in the end, our image didn't change also. But this, of course, is a bad example I showed you, right? Because I already tried to put on this bracelet and it's very hard to read. Specifically in terms of transferring all these details that we have on the bracelet. So actually, for example, here I uploaded my photos and asked to change the angles and so on, right? Played very well. Just with one photo, yes, I changed it. So naturally, this is also a generation from a neural network, from Flux, right? Here you go. For example, I'm drinking champagne here. Then I write, let's make the bottle completely covered in rhinestones like this one. He didn't understand what it was, right? So I made a remix of this photo that he generated for me and added a reference. He didn't understand what I needed to do. I sent it to him again and said, "Mo, let's make the bottle completely covered in rhinestones like this one." He still didn't understand what I want. But when I wrote, let's make the bottle in her hands full of rhinestones, like in the second frame, he completely understood, right? So, well, I would just edit the bottom a bit and that's it. Here. So actually a very cool result. So you can accordingly make frames, rotate, add as you like, change the atmosphere, change the background, change anything else in your photo. Attaching references, yes, attaching there, specifying prompts and so on. Yes, so here you have a button, for example, repeat request, yes, maybe view parameters, view original request, and so on. Yes, so like you can eventually download the image and then use it further. The generation here it's not a very small number of tokens, so you can generate in it for quite a long time. So actually it's a very cool tool in your work that you can use very conveniently. Yes, so, and there plus using these functions. It's really well done here, because in other neural networks that I tried on Banana and on the official website, honestly, I didn't like using it. So naturally, I recommend you work in syntax and really enjoy the process. In any case, try to find the key to this neural network. And of course, good luck with your work.